Hi, Jen Delaney here, and I wanted to do a video today about my history and background, about the counselors who I saw and how they helped me recover and inspired me to become a counselor. I was very fortunate to begin counseling at age 11 when my mother married my stepfather and we were integrating as a new family. And we saw a wonderful woman who was our mentor, and she guided us individually as well as a family. And I was at that point entering middle school, and she was able to teach me some important concepts about human nature, gave me some psychoeducation about navigating emotion and the other kids. An example, teaching me that sometimes people who are insecure are going to try and tear me down so that they feel better, and not to take that personally, but to see it as the other person's insecurity and good boundaries. She just taught me a lot of the great basics. So lucky to learn that so early. So while I don't think everybody requires counseling, I think learning some of these skills is imperative to a society that evolves and moves forward and raises kids who are happier. So after that, I moved to New York City after college. And I had developed eating disorders, um, bulimia specifically, and overeating. And I had been a very sensitive child. To this day, if I hear someone arguing in public, I can't concentrate on what I'm doing or who's talking to me. I feel it so intensely in my body. And I don't think I really knew what to do with those emotions. And while my early counselor normalized those emotions, they felt very out of control to me. And it felt better to repress them, to stuff them down. And so that inevitably that leads to addictions. So I sought someone out in New York City, and I found someone who was at a low cost psychoanalytic center. So it was a form of talk therapy, and talk therapy doesn't work for everybody. I find that it can be very effective as well as having somatic forms. It's nice to have, I was going to say, between counseling that I had throughout my life, I had periods of time that I didn't have counseling, and that gave me a chance to integrate my new learning. Because as we get better, as we recover, as we learn all of this, we become cellularly different people. We see life differently. Our perception changes because we're no longer seeing life in a threatened state of being, but seeing it for what it is much more clearly. So this woman in New York City helped me recover 100% from depression that I had had for about 7 years, as well as the eating disorders. And again, it was a low-cost counseling center, which was great because I couldn't really have afforded something else. Sometimes people say counseling is expensive, but I've got to say that it's so worth every session. Even if we don't quite know why or where it's leading, or we don't even see the light at the end of the tunnel, it leads us somewhere. It's our personal journey, and it expands the way we perceive reality, and it heals the places where we've been very hurt and injured. So that was my second counselor. My next counselor was after I divorced when I was 40. And he taught me so much about mindfulness. I had been a meditator since I was age 12, but I was doing a form that was very focused on a mantra. And it wasn't necessarily integrated with my body. And so I remember that at that point, I still was living life very much in story, like a collection of stories. That was my, biography, my autobiography. And so it was canned stories. And I was telling him one of my canned stories, and he interrupted me and said, what are you feeling in your body right now? And I didn't really know, first of all, why he interrupted me. I felt a little pissy about it. But also, I wasn't sure what he was asking me. And he taught me over that year that I saw him to tune into my body, to trust it, to trust the moment, to question what I was thinking. Was it something that was down a rabbit hole that was no longer serving me? In other words, we keep people alive who've hurt us way beyond the time they're out of our lives with these stories. And so he taught me that I had a choice over what I was thinking. And that was huge, which is why I teach mindfulness to complement the somatic form, brain spotting, that I do with clients. So that was great. And then that led me closer to my 50s to doing some brain spotting. And the brain spotting just, allowed me to neutralize strong emotion related to some memories that I hadn't quite finished out. So, at any rate, all of this adds up to a freer way of being, to being able to establish better boundaries, to living the life that we want to be living, to thinking the thoughts that are beneficial for us, to drawing boundaries with people who are not serving us. And ultimately, yeah, I'm always finishing my blog posts, serenity, freedom, and joy. And I think that those increase, as well as better connections with others, better communications. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.